The Gantt chart shows us tasks on a timeline. It allows us to see how tasks appear over time in our system. It enables us to quickly create dependencies between tasks. It is a very intuitive way of displaying what needs to be done in our project. Entering a given project, in the upper right corner of the screen, we have a Gantt chart view switch. Here, we will be taken to the Gantt chart, where we will see all the tasks and milestones we have in our project. What do we see here? From the Gantt chart level, we are able to create new tasks, which, like in the case of the list, will be added at the very bottom. If I add a task, at this moment it will not appear anywhere on the Gantt chart. This is because it must have a start date and an end date to be placed on the timeline. I will add a date to such a task. It will be a long task that will last quite a while. When I close this view, I see that the task has appeared at the very bottom. After hovering over this task, I see its name, start date, end date, duration, and progress. I can manually change the progress with the slider at the bottom. In this case, if I enter the task, I will see that the progress has updated. If I manually change it to 25%, the shading level of the tile will also change. In this view, I also have the ability to create new milestones in a very similar way, and also, which is very useful for navigating this screen, I will find the option to choose in which view I would like to display my tasks. It can be a monthly, quarterly, or yearly view if we have tasks in a project that is very extensive. I will return to my weekly view. Next, we have the option to filter our data. This functionality allows us to search for task names, filter by status, for instance, displaying only unfinished tasks, and narrow down results by assignee or other criteria. We can also filter by start date, end date, and additional fields such as task criticality or supplier country, making it easier to pinpoint the specific tasks that are most relevant to us. I can easily close this filtering. It's worth remembering that this option exists. Next, in the view of my column settings, I have the ability to define which elements I would like to have visible on my Gantt chart. In this case, it could be the number of consecutive rows, the WBS number, dates that will display directly on the schedule, task owner icons. Here will be the line for today, which will show me the current date. Next, the ability to display the critical path in case of any delays in tasks. Such elements will be marked in red, and also, which is very useful, we have here resource workflow, which is a breakdown of how our employees are loaded within given tasks. Shifting any element on the Gantt chart automatically updates all related information. I can color code the chart by department, task criticality, or any default or custom attribute created in the system settings, including simple progress indicators. This functionality makes navigating diverse tasks and their attributes significantly more intuitive. It's worth noting that this coloring is configured in our Schedule columns settings, where specific values are assigned to particular colors. Based on this configuration, our Gantt chart can be color-coded in multiple ways for clear visual distinction. If I want to change the duration of a specific task, for example, risk analysis, I can hover over its endpoint and use the slider to adjust the length, either extending or shortening it as needed. As mentioned, I can also update the task's completion status. Importantly, this is also where I can define task dependencies between different activities. I talk about dependencies in another video, which I warmly refer you to, because dependencies will allow us to build a sequential structure of our schedule. If a given task is completed, it will simply be fully shaded, and in the view of the parent task of the entire phase, in this case, analysis, the progress bar of such a task will also change. Moving on, looking at our Gantt chart, we have the option to export. Here, by clicking, we can export it either to MS Project in XML format, or as a PDF document, or as an image. Importantly, if we choose these two options, if these are the graphic elements, then the schedule will be saved at the moment of its display. This view will be saved for us. If we click on the history here, we will see the entire history of actions on our schedule with the option to undo them. In the case of settings, we have a few options here. The first one allows us to define working days. By default, in projects, Saturdays and Sundays are marked as non-working days. This means that if a task were scheduled to end on a Saturday, the system will not permit this and will instead select the nearest preceding working day. Similarly, if a task were to start on a Sunday, the system will automatically adjust it to begin on the following Monday. This ensures compliance with the configured non-working day settings. Next, I have the option to integrate with Jira or import a schedule from an Excel file or MS project, which we cover in other videos. As you can see, the Gantt chart view offers a straightforward way to organize the project's visual layout and manage its detailed scheduling. Therefore, I encourage you to switch to the Gantt chart view in your own projects and begin exploring the features we discussed today. Thank you very much for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. And please subscribe to this channel. I wish you successful work in the FlexiProject system.